But he prays is better in the eyes of Allah.
Finally, the United Kingdom is waking up, and I applaud them for making the right decision. A significant victory for UK citizens.
As regular viewers will know, my show has revealed that radical Islamic preachers are on their way to Britain. One of them, Mohammed Hoblos, is banned in the Netherlands and Germany for being too extreme. He's reportedly supported violence carried out by Hamas and urged others to do the same. Now, earlier today, Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp wrote to Yvette Cooper. He said, "I write to ask you to take immediate steps to block the entry of Islamist hate preacher Mohammed Hoblos. Freedom of speech does not walk hand in hand with freedom of extremist Islam. Clerics to come to Britain as well, to come to this country and further their attempts to undermine our society." He's rightly been barred from other countries, including a ban on entering all Schengen zone nations. That was Chris Philp's letter there. Well, I can now announce to you what appears to be a massive victory for GB News and for Britain. We understand that the Home Office will take steps to block Mohammed Hoblos from coming to the UK. I think it's fair to say that this would not have happened if we had not applied massive pressure. So I'll just say that again. It appears that the Home Office will now take steps to block Mohammed Hoblos from coming to the UK. And I will say this as well. Assuming that is correct, then credit where credit is due. Yvette Cooper and the Home Office, I think, have done the right thing. And I think many people and our viewers and listeners will say that they have done the right thing. That if this individual does not come to Britain, that is the right decision. And that appears to be the decision that has been made. But this will no doubt be a blow for at least one of the venues for his tour, where they said they were happy to let him preach there. The Werneth Suite in Manchester, it's called, has been sent all the material from these radical preachers. In fact, I spoke to them on the phone yesterday. They told us yesterday that they would contact the charity who was organising this event, One Ummah, and today they told us that they were prepared for it to go ahead because, quotes, "Oh, it's just about Ramadan." Right, well, it doesn't really matter about that, though, does it? Because it appears that they were going to willfully platform a man who has been banned for extremism in the Netherlands and in Germany and who claimed, reportedly, to support Hamas. The Werneth Suite in Manchester appeared happy to platform a man who reportedly supports violence carried out by Hamas. And that's on them at the end of the day, isn't it?
Listen to what Lord Bailey says here. It is crucial to distinguish between freedom of religion and promoting values and doctrines that fundamentally oppose what society collectively deems unacceptable.
Actually, our security services and the Home Office should be on high alert to ward people off. And the third thing, of course, if we are warding off these radical preachers, as people are calling them, it sends a message. We are not a soft touch, find somewhere else to preach. The reason we are attracting them and we're getting so many homegrown is because we're not challenging them. And the idea that we're a tolerant society is correct, but I think we're moving towards appeasement rather than tolerance. At some point, we need to say to people, if you're going to undermine the fundamentals of our society, we won't have you here. And if you live here already, we will challenge that, and we should be more forthright in that.
For too long, the United Kingdom has abandoned its foundational values in an attempt to appease those whose beliefs directly contradict the principles of Western civilization. No country should willingly allow individuals intent on undermining its moral and cultural foundations to influence its citizens. Therefore, I applaud this ban because it was the right thing to do.
Adultery, zina. What about the one who rapes a child? What about the one who drinks alcohol? What about the one who does the biggest of the kabair, good or bad? This person, one person that commits all of these sins, he commits all of these sins on a daily basis, but he prays is better in the eyes of Allah than the one that doesn't commit any of these sins but doesn't pray.
Does this sound like someone who should be welcomed into a civilized society that values human dignity? Thankfully, some members of the UK Parliament still have the courage to speak out against permitting individuals who do not align with UK values to freely indoctrinate its citizens.
Now, Mr. Speaker, on Sunday the 23rd of February, when we're due to come back after recess, the renowned hate preacher Mohammed Hoblos is due to speak in this country. He's been banned in Germany, banned in Holland, and I know that the Shadow Home Secretary has written to the Home Secretary already asking that he be banned from this country. Given that anti-Semitism is at its highest peak ever and anti-Muslim hatred is at a peak, it is clear that the last thing we want is someone coming along and stirring up racial and religious hatred. So can the leader use her good offices to encourage the Home Secretary to issue a banning order to prevent this man from coming to this country?
But he raises a very serious matter, as he does often in the House, about how we tackle anti-Semitism in this country, how we tackle hate speech, and how we take action to make sure that those who are spreading hate and anti-Semitism are prevented from doing so. And I shall certainly raise the matter with the Home Secretary and make sure he gets a full response.
Pay attention to what is said in this clip, and you will see that the United Kingdom, like much of Europe, is at a critical turning point. Unless decisive action is taken to protect their foundational values, their national identity and heritage will continue to erode.
700 years of our trial to conquer Europe by force failed. They did something wrong, very wrong. They tried for many years to conquer Europe through wars, only wars.
This is the soft Islamic conquest of the West. Basically, what the Islamic and again, I'm an Orthodox Muslim. What we couldn't do in the last, say, 20 years, now the West is doing it for us for free and even paying for it.
Allah permitted them to live off the infidel while they are subduing them. So it had sort of a parasitic type of attitude where they can live off of the host country, where their goal is to eventually eradicate the host culture and supplant it with Islam.
The 700-year plan to conquer Europe through war failed, but now conquest is being achieved through gradual infiltration without lifting a single weapon. Even more troubling, they openly boast that the West is facilitating their advancement and financially supporting them. This tweet sums it up. 78% of Muslim women do not work, receive state support, and free accommodation. A large percentage of Muslim men also do not work but receive state assistance and housing. State-supported Muslim families, with an average of 3 to 8 children, receive free accommodations. Now, every school in the UK is required to teach lessons about Islam. While figures like Alex O'Connor and Richard Dawkins work tirelessly to discredit Christianity and encourage secularism, another ideology is steadily taking over. Eventually, they will reap the destructive consequences of their efforts to undermine God and Christianity in the UK. The United Kingdom once thrived under the influence of biblical truth, proclaimed by faithful men like William Tyndale and Thomas Cranmer. Their dedication to spreading the gospel established a foundation of faith, morality, and national prosperity. For centuries, the UK enjoyed peace and stability, rooted in Christianity. However, as biblical truth is abandoned, moral decay and secularism have weakened the nation, allowing the rapid rise of Islam and cultural shifts that threaten its Christian heritage. The Bible warns in Proverbs 14:34, "Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people." The UK must return to Jesus Christ. Please like this video, subscribe, and enable the bell icon. Thanks. Please check out other videos on this channel to learn more about evidence for God, the resurrection of Jesus, the historical accuracy of Scripture, science, and faith, and thoughtful answers to objections against Christianity.